You remember the last time you stood still, completely still, not waiting for anything, not checking anything, not thinking about your next appointment, just breathing in the air that came to you. It was an afternoon, perhaps, when the sun came through the window and drew slow shapes on the wall. There was something about that moment that you can't quite name, a quality of presence that now seems distant. Time didn't flow. It simply existed, like a calm river that you could feel flowing. Your hands rested. Your shoulders didn't carry the invisible weight you know so well today. That afternoon, you weren't productive. You weren't optimizing anything. You weren't building, planning, or executing. You were simply being human. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The silence wasn't empty. It was full of a texture that you could almost touch. As if the world was breathing along with you. As if life were a silent conversation between you and something greater. Something that needed no name. But something changed. Slowly, almost imperceptibly. Like when loud music takes over a house and you only realize how loud it is when someone finally turns it off. The world began to speed up. And you accelerated along with it. Now you wake up and you're already running. Before you even open your eyes, your mind fires off a list. Appointments, responsibilities, unanswered messages. The day begins before dawn. And it ends long after the sun goes down. If it ends at all. You carry a phone that never sleeps. A window open to the whole world, 24 hours a day. Notifications that arrive like constant raindrops. Ping. Buzz. Flashing lights. Every sound a little electric shock to your nervous system. They say it's connection. But you feel the loneliness growing. A strange loneliness, surrounded by people. Surrounded by voices talking non-stop. But nobody seems to be really talking to you. And you're not really talking to anyone. You scroll. Down, always down. Consuming lives that aren't yours. Successes that aren't yours. Problems that aren't yours. Until the problems become yours. Until the success of others becomes your inadequacy. Until you no longer know where your life ends and your performance begins. Your attention has been outsourced. Sold on the data market. Your emotions have been mapped, predicted, and manipulated. Algorithms know what you're going to feel before you feel it. And they use this knowledge to keep you looking. Always looking. Never standing still. You work to live and live to work. The line has dissolved. The office is in your home. Home is in your office. Work is in your pocket. Holidays are a concept that only exists in theory. Rest is procrastination. A break is a waste of time. They call it an opportunity. Growth. Personal fulfillment. But your body speaks a different language. Tension in the shoulders that never goes away. Sleep that doesn't restore. Food that you swallow without tasting it. Short breaths, as if the world didn't have enough air. You've become a ghost in your own life. Physically present, absent in every other sense. Living on autopilot. Reacting, not responding. Surviving, not living. And underneath it all, a tiredness that isn't physical. It's something deeper. It's the weariness of the soul. Of trying to be everything to everyone. Of never being enough. Of running a race that has no finish line. Of chasing goals that move whenever you get close. Of looking for happiness in places where it has never been. You feel like you're drowning in air. Surrounded by oxygen, but unable to breathe. There's so much noise that you've forgotten what silence feels like. So much movement that you've forgotten what it's like to stand still. So much information that you've forgotten what it's like to know. But this video appeared. You clicked on it. Why did you click on it? Perhaps because something in you recognized what was written. It only appears when the soul asks for silence. And your soul is asking. How long has it been asking? First whispering, then speaking, now shouting. It's asking to stop, to breathe, to remember, to go back to that afternoon when you were enough, when existing was enough, When you didn't need to prove anything to anyone, not even yourself. Maybe you've forgotten, but you're still there. That person who knew how to stand still, who knew how to look out of the window without rushing, who could hear their own heart beating, who understood that living is not a competition, it's an experience. Under all the layers of productivity and performance, you're still human. Under all the apps and algorithms, you still have a body that needs rest, a heart that needs silence, a mind that needs space. You are not a machine that has broken down. You are a human being who has been pushed beyond your limits. You are not inadequate. You are overwhelmed. You are not failing. You are trying to live in a world that has forgotten how to look after people. The truth is that you were never meant for this speed. Your nervous system evolved for small tribes and real dangers. Not for constant notifications and artificial anxieties. Not for living as if all the world's problems were your own. Not for always being on. You have the right to be tired, to say no, to not respond immediately, to not be optimized, to not have an opinion on everything, to not be inspirational, of just being human, with all the limitations and beauties that includes. There's something sacred about being still, in letting the world spin without your participation for a few moments, in trusting that everything will continue to work even if you stop pushing, in discovering that you are not the axis around which everything revolves. Silence is not empty. It's full of possibilities. It's where you find yourself again. It's where your own ideas can emerge without competing with the constant noise of the world. It's where you can hear your own voice, not the echo of other people's voices. When was the last time you felt bored? Real, complete boredom with no escape? Today you fill every empty second. Bank queue? Telephone. Lift? Telephone. 5 minutes of waiting? Telephone. You've medicated boredom to extinction. And with it, you've medicated creativity. Because it's in boredom that the best ideas are born. It's in emptiness that inspiration flourishes. It's in stillness that you remember who you are when you're not trying to be someone else. It's in the silence that you find the questions that really matter. Are you afraid of being alone with your thoughts? Many do. Because when the noise stops, what's left can be frightening at first. Doubts, fears, sadness that you've been avoiding. But something else remains, clarity, peace, a wisdom that has always been there. Your ancestors knew the value of silence. They had rituals for stillness, sacred moments of non-doing. They understood that being busy is not the same as being alive, that producing is not the same as creating, that having is not the same as being. You can start small. 5 minutes without a phone, a walk without headphones, a meal without distraction, an unhurried conversation, a bath where you just feel the water, 5 minutes where you just breathe. It's not about becoming a hermit. It's about remembering that you have a choice, that you can say no to the urgent and yes to the important, that you can create boundaries, that you can protect your energy like you protect your wallet, that you can choose where to place your attention. The world will resist. It will say you're being lazy, unproductive, that you're missing opportunities, that you should be doing more, being more, having more. But the world is wrong. You're already enough. You always have been. You always will be. There's a difference between rest and escape. Rest restores. Escape only postpones. Infinite scroll is escape. Binge watching is escapism. Compulsive shopping is escapism. Real rest is when you stop and find peace, not when you stop and find distraction. You feel that, don't you? That nostalgia for a simpler life? It's not nostalgia for the past. It's nostalgia for the present. Of what it means to be truly present. What it means to live each moment instead of rushing through it. Remember when you were a child and you could spend hours watching ants? Or clouds? Or just feeling the wind on your face? That ability hasn't died. It's asleep, waiting for you to stop running long enough to wake it up again. Burnout is not a personal problem. It's a systemic problem. You're not broken. The system is broken. A system that values production over people. That confuses being busy with being important. That treats humans as resources that must be optimized. But you don't need to optimize yourself out of burnout. You need to rescue yourself back to humanity. You need to remember that you are an animal that needs rest. A being that needs rhythm. A creature that flourishes in calm, not in chaos. Your exhaustion is information. It's telling you something important. That you've exceeded your limits. That you need something different. That you deserve something better. That you weren't made to live in permanent emergency mode. There is wisdom in tiredness. It forces you to stop when you don't voluntarily stop. It forces you to question when you automatically accept everything. It invites you to change when you cling to the familiar. It's a harsh but necessary teacher. The silence your soul asks for isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing with awareness. It's about choosing rather than reacting. It's about creating space for life to happen, rather than forcing life to happen. You don't need more meditation apps. You don't need more productivity techniques. You don't need more life hacks. You need permission. Permission to be human. To have limits. To say no. To be tired. To not have all the answers. Today, when you've finished watching this video, you have a choice. You can go back to the frenetic pace, or you can try something different. You can check your messages immediately, or you can take 3 breaths first. You can run to the next task, or you can walk. Small choices. Micro-revolutions. Subtle acts of rebellion against the artificial urgency of the world. Every pause is a protest. Each conscious breath is a declaration of independence. Every moment of presence is a homecoming. You are not alone in this weariness. Millions of people feel the same weight, the same exhaustion, the same nostalgia for a slower life. This is no coincidence. It's a sign that something needs to change. And change starts with people like you stopping. There's courage in admitting you're tired. In a culture that glorifies exhaustion, confessing vulnerability is a radical act. It's refusing to be a productivity hero. It's choosing to be a human rather than a machine. It's honoring your limitations as sacred. Maybe you need days of silence. Maybe weeks. Maybe months to diffuse all that accumulated tension. To relearn what it's like to live unhurriedly. To remember that you are more than your achievements. More than your productivity. More than your usefulness. The world can wait. Your messages can wait. Your projects can wait. But you can't wait to start living again. To feel again. To breathe again. To be again. There is a natural rhythm to human life. Like tides that come and go. Like seasons that change. Like breathing that expands and contracts. You were made for this rhythm. Not for the constant speed of a machine. When you stop, the world doesn't stop. When you rest, the world doesn't collapse. When you're away, everything keeps working. This can be humiliating or liberating. It depends on how you choose to see it. You can choose to see it as liberating. Stillness is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Like water, like air, like food. You don't feel guilty about breathing. You shouldn't feel guilty for needing silence. It's a basic human right that you forgot you had. Maybe this is the moment. Maybe this video appeared because you were ready. Ready to stop running. Ready to question what you've been told about success. Ready to redefine what a life well lived means. You don't have to save the world. You don't have to solve all the problems. You don't need to be extraordinary. You just need to be present to your own life. You just need to be kind to yourself. You just need to remember that you matter. The soul that asks for silence is wise. It knows what you need before you know it. It whispers truths that your busy mind can't hear. It points you home when you're lost. It offers rest when you're exhausted. Listen to her. Just for today. Just for this afternoon. Just for this hour. Give her the silence she asks for. Give yourself the kindness you deserve. Give the world the rested version of you. It's more valuable than the exhausted version. Silence is waiting. Not as emptiness, but as fullness. Not as absence, but as presence. Not as an end, but as a beginning. The beginning of a life where you don't have to run to be valuable. Where you can simply be. And when you're ready, when the silence has done its job, you'll return. But you'll come back different. More whole. More present. More human. You'll return not because you have to, but because you choose to. You don't have to be huge to matter. You just need to be awake.